Have you seen this game advertised across your social media? It was up on the Google Play Store as just Apex Girls, but it was removed, and then came back as Apex Girls 3650 Pool Giveaway. Now, there hasn't been an official statement from the developer or the publisher on why they originally took this down, but I think it becomes apparent in a bit. But how does this stack up to recent games? Let's take a look at this idle gacha. I'll start you right off with the pre-combat area. Now in the pre-combat area, if you're in the main expedition, you've got your quick combat down here. You got access to your Stellaris waifus, that's your hero roster, you've got your lineup. Now in here in the in-battle, this is going to be your saved preset lineup. So you can add, change out, clear your preset, give each one a name, you can add multiple tags. So there's a whole lot of presets that you can do there. Dispatch, this is your auto deploy where the system will give you the best option it thinks that you have. Now in this area is also where you can see your enemy's combat power versus yours. A lot of games that info is actually in the previous screen, but with this one you actually have to come into here, unfortunately. The game is split into 4 color elements. It's purple, red, yellow, and blue, which is Void, Inferno, Rancor, and Flare. Now there's one more faction that isn't part of the main 4, and that's the Nebula. And that doesn't have any counter penalties. And if you notice that if you click on one of these enemies, for example, it's going to show you if you have any additional counters for that particular color type. So these reds are weak to the purple, so they're going to show up there, and you can kind of plan your attacks out. Now hit attack, if this goes back out to the main level, hit attack again, and then you'll start your fight. You get 3 combat speeds. I'm going to set this down to 1. And I think you get 1 and 2 speeds initially, and I can't remember when you get the 3rd. Now up at the top, it shows you whose turn to attack it is. You'll see various like flashy animations on the screen there. You'll show your hit points when people get attacked. Everything is like this chibi style artwork during combat. Some people hate that, some people like it. I'm not super fond of it myself. I would prefer like the mini characters, but this is what we got. Now the buff button here, this is going to show you like which buffs have actually been deployed depending on your side or their side, and it does actually pause the combat while you do it. Now skip you don't get until level 2-10 I think, which is pretty early on, and skip is a godsend in this game because they wanted this game to appear, I think, less grindy and more resource driven. So you really need that because you're going to use it a lot. Now let's go ahead and get into another one. I'm going to go ahead and set it to ×3 speed this time. Now when you attack, you're also going to get the accumulated amount of hit points that you've done damage to. Now, it's a pretty clean combat screen, so you don't have a lot of unwanted happenings, but you also don't get any manual combat. It's all somewhat very automated, except you don't have like full auto combat between levels yet. So it's not like you can just like set it and say just go until you run out of energy or until you can't go anymore or something like that. So that part you have to choose manually. I don't know if it unlocks a little bit later on. And unfortunately, like with your ultimates, you don't get any like nice animations for those.
Just here. Freeze! I'm gonna eye on you. I hear the cries of despair in the world. I'll be the one to grant you eternal rest. Freeze! I'm gonna eye on you. Freeze! I'm gonna eye on you. All you doom and gloom. I'll be the one to grant you eternal care, but I'm not just here. Freeze! I'm gonna eye on you. I hear the cries of despair in the world. All you find is doom and gloom.
Now end screen, you get your normal combat statistics. You can see what kind of damage was done, all that. You can hit your foe, so you can see what the enemy has done. So despite some of the bland combat, I think, the game does somewhat make up for it in other components. Let me go over the resource collection and then you can make your decision. Now coming in hot, you'll see I've got a lot of red markers everywhere. As you play this game, you seem to get a lot of them. Now, not all of them are resource collections. Sometimes they want you to buy things, or they're telling you have enough stuff to level up a character or equip some stuff, you know, and all that. But more often than not, there's something to collect. If we go over here to the perks on the left-hand side, they've added a title to this game, 3650, like I mentioned before, right? Now this comes from this. It's 10 recruit tickets you get per day for 365 days, 10 times 365, 3650, right? 3,650. From what I gather, when the game launched in Japan and Korea, it did pretty well, but then the player base actually dropped off for a little bit. And to drum up player support, they went global. Then they launched the daily 10 times recruit tickets. So I think that might be a big reason on why they just ended up pulling it from the Play Store and then just re-adding it with the new title. They've got the main task list down at the bottom called Daily. Every time you do stuff in here, you'll have something to collect. But in addition to that, there's a lot of other things to collect too. You've got the event section over here near the top left. There's always something going on here. I've got the activity challenge. You can go in there, click all that stuff. There's a video reward area, and you can collect 2 gifts per day from hours 0 through 12, and then 12 through 24. Definitely check that out if you want. You've got the Stellaris Roulette. You've got Ordinary and Advanced. And it takes a while sometimes to get the tickets for each of these, but you might as well just use them as soon as you get them. It's another area that you can get stuff though. It's really neat. You got the Crazy Draw times 10 going on right now. This is where you can select one group out of the 4 for each level marker that you hit in this list. So at level 1-30, you can collect your first set. The next one is 3-30, you know, and so on. You've got one SSR in here that you can select, and then when you're able to collect it, then you can choose the one that you actually want. Summer Bliss, this is a special event, a little spicy right there. Now some things in here they want you to buy, but others are just collections, and they have a special event store going on right now. So as you get your currency and everything, then you can use those to get some stuff. Up at the top, we got limited echo summons. Now there's multiple limited banners right now going on, so keep an eye on your advanced echo permits that you pick up. You're definitely going to want to go in there and check that out. And there's usually something free, like I just collected right now. You've got your Advent of Stellari. Another area, you've got some resources to collect, and then also some banners in here going on. Over on the store, this section has a lot of little mini stores, and 2 of them usually have a free item per day. So you can see one right here, and then right here too. Now, out of the things surrounding the main campaign, you have Adventure and Sanctuary. Those are the 2 you're probably going to be visiting the most often. Now in Adventure, I don't have everything unlocked yet, but you do have the mock battle. This is where you can sweep the current levels you already did in this particular area every day for extra rewards. So I think you get like 2 per day. I'm not quite sure like when it resets, but I have 2 right now. So another area to get some stuff. On the back out, go to Sanctuary. Actually, one more thing. Over in Adventure, you got the Ariman Hunting. And here you can fight this boss every day for some more rewards in there. You can do it as a team if you want, and you can also skip it if you have the skip function unlocked. And I think by the time you're allowed to actually do this, you have the skip function anyways. And now over here back to Sanctuary, you'll want to hit the residence pretty much every day. And this is where you go to rescue survivors on this like game board style level. You can actually auto throw those dice that you have and just do it, and you have to sit here and just wait for it to get done, or you can do it like one at a time. And what you do is you pick up these survivors, but you also get a lot of resources along the way. And then when you have those survivors, what you do is you take them over here and you put them in your sweatshop here. Your workshop. And what happens is the more that you have in here, the more it gives you a boost to like your attacks. So your lineup attack goes up here +6, and over here it goes up +50. When the population workshop reaches 250, you get an extra bonus there. So that one you got to get 250 in there first, and then here for every 10 it goes up 6. We already went over a lot in this video, so I won't cover all the individual sections that you have, so I'll let you explore that on your own when you play the game. But there's also the Stellaris section. This is where you level up, add your equipment, you know, your gear, and check out the outfits for your ladies and all that. Now this is where some of the voice acting kind of falls apart. Some of them sound great and others are just lower quality. I don't know why it is, it just is that way. So let's go into somebody here.
I'm death itself. Death fears nothing. Death doubts nothing.
Now you got your combat power up at the top. You got your full attribute list right below that. Next to that, you've got your level up to the right. This is where you can do 1 or 5 levels at a time. Now once you hit level 60, it starts to cost a lot of resources, and every 10 levels you have to do a breakthrough with your purifier material, and that's so you can continue on. You've got your skill list below that, so it'll tell you everything that those things do. Now, it's a shame too that you can't set these off like manually in combat though. I really wish you could. Now down at the bottom you got your reset, outfit, bio, and expertise. Now in your outfit, there isn't too many on most of the characters right now unless you have the higher end ones. I'm going to show you a couple here though. This is like your main character you get when you start the game. Now a couple of them in their alternate outfits you can zoom in here, and sometimes there's like an extra animation you can click on.
I'm death itself. Death.
Life always
More needs, more desires, and even more. Hey there, Commander. You could use a bit more spice in your life. Swing by the bar whenever you're free. I'll give your growth a little boost.
Now the start level is exactly what it sounds like. The military ranking, now this is kind of cool. It's where you can get medals that give you a bit more attribute bonuses. You need to have a sweet permit, and then you have to do 4 of them if I remember right, and then Once you get the 4, yeah, you have to have 4 for these shards here. And then once you have that, then you can use that metal. Then you can synthesize that metal so you can equip it. So I needed to get like 2 more shards for this one. So I got that, and then now you hit synthesize, and then it equips it. Now the equipment, that's exactly what it sounds like. Add or remove your gear. But your gear does matter in this game. It can actually increase your power for your character quite a bit. So I would definitely be on the lookout for some of that red gear and some of that yellow gear. Now Chip, I don't have unlocked yet. You've got 2 sections. You've got the level 100 there, and then you have this other one that you need a 3-star. But the disclaimer at the bottom there is only one skill of the same type will work with the higher level.
Cozy spot and chill out for a bit.
Man, they just talk a lot. All right, so if you have the same skill, I guess, in each one here, it's whatever one is the higher one, then that's the one that'll activate. Now you can still check out the other heroes you don't have yet, so I would click around in here and see what you can get. I'm gonna go to the Nebula faction. This is like your high-end ones, your SSR pluses, and all your outfits are fully previewable. And it seems like here in the SSR plus, this is where the ones who have most of all the alternate costumes.
Want to feel the thrill of speed? Commander, you're always on the go. Don't you ever take a break? As for me, I love exploring. Want to feel the thrill of...
Know that we're partners. Aside from weapons, feel free. Know that we're partners.
The silent world is watching you.
Good thing I'm not monetized yet.
The silent world is watching you.
Don't question my taste. I am the trendsetter here.
So I think the artwork in here is actually pretty good. So it's a real shame again that they went with those chibi style characters instead of like maybe some mini characters.
Commander, our studio staff are top-notch designers. We're
Weapons don't have feelings. That's what sets them apart from humans. These gloves? A friend gave them to me before they went on a long trip. Weapons don't have feelings. That's what sets them apart from humans. These gloves?
Am I being too frugal? You might have got it wrong. I just live life my own way. Am I being too frugal? You might have got it wrong. The world out there is even bigger than we imagined.
Now, a lot of these outfits I don't think are actually available to get yet, but the game hasn't been out super long globally, and I guess that makes sense. They're probably not going to release them until a little bit while, but they're probably not going to release them until a little bit later. It always seems that there's a trade-off with these idle gachas. You can either have less fun combat but greater resource rewards, or they give you better combat and then you'll spend more time actually manually playing the game, but then that seems to tie into wanting you to grind things out, and then you have fewer dailies to collect. So very rarely do I see a game that actually gives you both awesome combat and high resource collection. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it seems to be far and few in between. Now, Apex Girls is more of the first one. They don't give you a lot of combat fun, but man do they give you plenty of things to collect and to do outside of the main campaign. That does make sense since the campaign itself is actually pretty boring. There's a story there too. It's a post-apocalyptic society because humanity fought this war with like machines. Your Stellaris are the combat waifus and you are the commander. It's a story that's honestly been beaten to death over and over, but it is there. It's nothing new, but it's how it's presented and the artwork is done and how the game mechanics are done. All those things matter, and that's what separates these games apart from each other in order to keep players entertained. It has a great artwork at times. It's also pretty spicy even though it's rated T for teen. It obviously appeals to the 18 to 35 male demographic. The resource collection though is really high with a grip of side areas. Now they give you equipment to use. You can synthesize that equipment to make them stronger. You can collect medals. There's a lot of side options to increase your overall team combat power. But it seems like a waste that they don't let you feel that you're using those things to your full ability since the combat is so bland. Honestly, that can be fixed though in future updates. With all the resources you collect, you don't need to spend money unless you're after something very specific that you can't get any other way, like a costume or a special gear set or something else that's like a collectible thing. Now obviously there is some grinding involved, and your daily collection comes from playing the game, including the main campaign, but it feels like the side questing was the primary focus and then the main campaign was the secondary. Now again, I come back to that balance that's really needed in some of these idle gachas. So will this game fizzle out like it did in the Asian markets because of this? I don't know, but it has some good things to offer, some mediocre things to offer. Play it for yourself and decide. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel. That's all for this one. This has been Blue Screen of Tech, and I'll see you in the next game.